know if the person you're dating is your soulmate?
Well, that's a great question. A lot of single people have that. And in my dating book, I do explain it in more detail, Mars, Venus on a Date. But the experience that someone is your soulmate is a revelation. It's a revelation. One day you go, this is the one for me. And there's a moment there where there's no doubt. Now, there'll be doubt later on down the line. We always have doubts. That's part of our monkey brain with its worries and so forth. But that clear revelation, and it's like you drink a glass of cold, refreshing water and you say, this is a nice glass of cold, refreshing water. It's just a knowing. It's a revelation. It's a direct experience. However, there's a lot of things we think are that revelation that are not. And that's why I talk about the 5 stages of dating. A guy can just get turned on to a woman if he's horny and think she's the one for me. And after he ejaculates, he goes, what was I thinking? And a woman can feel that way as well. She feels somehow threatened. Is the irony inside of women. If they bond with a man who really isn't interested in her, they bond more. This is a paradox. There's a lot of paradoxes to everything and it takes a lot of explanation for it. But the bottom line is that when there's danger, a brain chemical called dopamine gets produced. If a woman feels safe, that someone is there for her, then the dopamine will produce high levels of estrogen and oxytocin. However, if she doesn't feel safe, and then she feels like I have to do it myself, meaning I have to manipulate him, give him sex, please him, surrender, and then I'll have my safety. So she feels the danger of dopamine. It can either increase estrogen or it will increase testosterone. And so then she feels like, okay, it's up to me to protect myself from him. And I can do that by being real sexual. So this sexual urge becomes very, very strong when a woman meets a guy who's really not available to her, or she imagines who the guy is and she's in fantasy land. Like you meet a movie star, a rock star. Her nipples become erect. You can see her oxytocin's being released, but she's like, oh my God, this is like the most fantastic person, because all of a sudden she's fantasizing who this person could be. Her estrogen levels will spike, her oxytocin will go up because it's a fantasy. So she'll feel this strong sexual drive. But then another thing sets in where she starts to feel like, okay, I have to please him. And then her testosterone levels will shoot up because she is in danger. So she can't stay in that oxytocin, estrogen place. Her testosterone comes in. What do I have to do to keep him to love me? Women, when they feel unworthy like that, they'll also have that response. As opposed to, a woman with good self-esteem and a guy ignores her, she'll ignore him back. But a woman with low self-esteem, a guy ignores her, she'll like, oh, let me please you. Some of the classes to help guys, get laid, they're on the other side of the camp. I'm on the side of the camp, which is provide what a woman needs. But what they know to do is you show some interest in a woman and say, but why would you wear that shirt? It's or your hair is really kind of messed up, or those glasses are kind of funky. So you don't praise her. You actually give these subtle little criticisms. Well, what would you have to say? You just sort of trash her a little bit. And then she kind of feels like, oh, I got to earn your love and please you. And to her, it feels more authentic as well in a kind of a backwards way, because if you're really a hot, attractive woman, everybody's always saying you're beautiful, you're beautiful. That doesn't work either, because she's like looking for, she doesn't believe it. And, she has her own self-esteem issues. And ironically, the more beautiful a woman is externally, according to the standards of our society, the more insecure she is. This was shocking to me. I used to counsel in Los Angeles. I live in the Bay Area now, but it was over 30 years ago or so. 32 years ago, 35 years ago, I was counseling in Los Angeles, and I had a lot of models, and they were the most insecure women that I ever met. I couldn't believe it. That's why I remember it so much. It's like, why would you think you're not attractive? Pinpoint into the littlest cellulite or the littlest this. They're comparing themselves with the best out there. Most women aren't comparing themselves with the best out there. They have to go deeper to find something inside of them that has worth, as opposed to just the physical external. Because ultimately, in any relationship, the physical will not last unless you go deeper. Even no matter how superficial you are. Superficial people, that means immature. It's okay, and there's nothing bad about it. It's just superficial. Your physical attraction will last a little longer. But as soon as maturity sets in, you need a depth. you need to share more emotional vulnerability. And back to that thing, which is when women don't share their emotional vulnerability with the guy, they'll build up all this stress from the day, and then they'll project it onto him, and he becomes the problem rather than, I've got 100 problems in my life, you're only one of them.